Hey guys, what's up? It's AppleCritics from AppleCritics.com. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the latest and greatest iOS 13.5 GM, which stands for Goldmaster. And essentially, the Goldmaster is the final build that will be released to the public for iOS 13.5. So in this video, I'm going to be doing an in-depth walkthrough and showing you what's new and all of the features and what you should expect when you finally get your hands on iOS 13.5. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight on into this video. So to start off, when we take a look at the update, you're going to see that iOS 13.5 is 4.15 gigabytes. That's on my iPhone XS Max, and that's coming from iOS 13.5 Beta 4. So you can see that it's going to be a rather large update. You're going to want to make sure that you have enough space for this update. So this is the description for iOS 13.5. So now once you've done that, what we can do is go ahead and go into the settings, and then we can go into General, and then we can go into About. And now if we take a close look, you're going to see that I'm on iOS 13.5 and the build number is 17F75. So that's the final build number for iOS 13.5. Now, the noticeable feature is the COVID-19 tracing that's available within this final build. So if we go into Settings, and then we go into Privacy, and then we scroll all the way down until we see, and then once we're in Privacy, we go to Health. You're now going to see that it says COVID-19 exposure logging. So you're going to see that you have all this information. So when you first install, it's going to be set to off, and it says when enabled, the iPhone can exchange random IDs with other devices using Bluetooth. This enables an app to notify you if you may have been exposed to COVID-19. Exposure logging cannot access any data in or add any data to the health app. So that is basically what it allows you to do. So that's the main feature that's available within settings and then the privacy settings. So once it's turned off, it won't use any of those random IDs to see if you have come into contact with COVID. So when we click on it, you're going to see that it will say some more information, but for me, it says not available in your region. So it definitely depends on your region whether it will be available. Now, right under it, it says COVID-19 exposure logging and notifications are not available in your region. And then it says when enabled, the iPhone can exchange random IDs with other devices using Bluetooth. The random IDs your device collects are stored in exposure log for 14 days. This exposure log allows an app you authorize to notify you if you may have been exposed to COVID-19. If you are diagnosed with COVID-19, you can choose to share your own device's random IDs with the authorized app so it can notify others anonymously. So you can see that that is what you can do with it now. Now, what we can actually do is press learn more, and Apple actually goes down and breaks down the whole feature. So paragraphs upon paragraphs of what this feature specifically does and what happens when it goes into effect. So that is the major new feature. So next up is a feature in FaceTime. Now under FaceTime, you now have the automatic prominence feature. So with this, during group calls, the tile of the person speaking will automatically become larger. So that's a new feature. So whoever is speaking, it will become larger. Now this reminds me of Google Hangouts and Facebook and Zoom and all the other video conferencing apps. So this is a good feature that brings FaceTime group chats up to date. Now there's also some more changes with Face ID. So Face ID on 13.5 allows for easy access with a mask. So iOS 13.5 will pull up the passcode right away instead of trying to detect your face and then not working and then showing the passcode. Once you're wearing a mask, it will automatically detect that a mask is being worn and it will show the passcode right away. So that's the adjustment that Apple made with Face ID. Now a feature that has changed is the share button. So when we tap on it, when we're in Safari, you're gonna see that we have all these options. So you'll see that you have the normal AirDrop messages, Snapchat, and add to reading list and all this, but sometimes it was blank in beta 4 and it was having some issues. So Apple has fixed that. So that's definitely good to see. And now another issue is the mail badge. So sometimes it'll show that you have one new mail, and then when you go into it, there's no new mail at all. But then you would have to pull to refresh, and then you'll see that mail. So just a few errors with the badge notification. So just the mail badge icon glitch has been noticed. Now we can share the music on Apple Music to our Instagram story, and we'll be able to play it. So if you've seen anybody post on an Instagram story with Spotify, it's basically that same feature. So we go to the song, we tap on the three dots, and then we choose share, and then we pick Instagram, and then it'll say creating a story. And now you'll see that you have the options to post it on your Instagram story. And when you post it, it will say play on Apple Music. Now, a new issue is whenever you're in Instagram and you want to add Instagram music, So we could just choose Instagram Music, and then we can just choose any song. So let's say, for example, this song. And now when we play it, the music will be playing in the background, but if we go to any part of iOS, it will still be playing in the background. And the only way to stop it is just to swipe out of it. So that's the only way to stop the music. So the music is still playing in the background, and that's still an error that Apple needs to fix. Now, in terms of some other generic problems that people have been reporting is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connection issues. So the Bluetooth is disconnecting from the Bose speakers, and then they weren't able to charge their iPhone during the daytime, and the max capacity was only 80%. So it was also referred to as battery aging, and then the Wi-Fi was disconnecting. So there is still some miscellaneous issues within iOS 13.5 that hopefully Apple will hash out by the time it is a full public release. But this is basically the full version of iOS 13.5. Now, the performance is about the same. In terms of the Geekbench for iOS 13.5, it's 1,338 for the single core, and for the multi-core, it's 3,472. Now, this is approximately 3 points higher for both the single core and the multi-core than on iOS 13.5 Beta 4. Now, that is just a little bump in performance. It's not too noticeable, but it's just nice that it's slowly increasing with the Geekbench for both the single core and the multi-core part of the iPhone. Now, there is no complaints when it comes to battery life. Battery life has been solid, and Apple has fixed the battery life from iOS 13.4. I can confirm that, and it's just good that Apple is just upgrading the iOS at each and every jump. Now, last but not least, taking a look at what iOS 13.5 has to offer. This is just the official changelog made by Apple that has all the important notes. So iOS 13.5 speeds up the access to passcode field on devices with Face ID when you're wearing a face mask, and introduces the exposure notification API to support COVID-19 contact tracing apps from public health authorities. This update also introduces an option to control automatic prominence of video tiles on group FaceTime calls, and includes bug fixes and other improvements. Now, in terms of Face ID and passcode, a simplified unlock process for devices with Face ID when you're wearing a face mask. Passcode field automatically presented after swiping up from the bottom of the lock screen when you're wearing a face mask. Also works when authenticating with the App Store, Apple Books, Apple Pay, iTunes, and other apps that support signing in with Face ID. Now, exposure notification API to support COVID-19 contact tracing apps from public health authorities. FaceTime option to control automatic prominence on group FaceTime calls so video tiles do not change size when a participant speaks. And emergency services option to automatically share health and other essential information from your medical ID with emergency services when you place an emergency call. This is US only. And the iOS 13.5 update includes bug fixes and other improvements, and it fixes an issue where you may see a black screen when trying to play streaming video from some websites, and addresses an issue in the share sheet where suggestions and actions may not load. So that's the full description of iOS 13.5 from Apple. Now, the AirPods Pro just got a new update the other day. It refers to the build number of 2D15. Now, if we go ahead and go into Settings, and then we go into General, and then About, you'll see that there'll be some settings for the AirPods Pro. And now you'll be able to see that I have the latest update for the AirPods Pro. So you can see that the firmware version is 2D15. And you can see that the AirPods Pro software does fix a lot. So the latest update for the AirPods Pro fixes all the issues in terms of just the overall sound that had that noise in the back, like a crackling sound. So that sound is gone, and Apple is able to fix it with this software update. So in order to update to the AirPods software update, that basically goes hand in hand with iOS 13.5. The way you update is just simply have your AirPods in the case and charging, and within 15 minutes, it will be able to update the AirPods to the latest version. Now, you just have to have your AirPods close to your phone, and then it'll automatically update in the background. So this update is very key, as it just gets rid of that whizzing sound for the AirPods Pro. So that basically is the extent to iOS 13.5. It's a very solid update. I highly recommend updating. Now, the update will be available tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's the public update. And when you're on the Goldmaster, you can upgrade to the official public update since it is exactly the same. So that is one of the perks of being an Apple developer. So thanks for watching this video on iOS 13.5 for the hands-on of the Goldmaster and showing you everything that's new. Please be sure to subscribe to like this video. Please smash the like button down below so know you watch. Also be sure to subscribe for more great content and follow me on all the social mediums that include Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. My username there is Apple Critics. And once again, thanks for watching.